Welcome back to TE Walks Live, Episode 3, with Thomas and Mario going into the Jewish Quarter. Now we get to hear and see what Thomas and Mario discover when they walk into the Church of Santa Maria in Capitelli.
This is Baroque architecture in Rome, which is where it's born.
Rome is the birthplace of Baroque architecture indeed, and it's always beautiful to point out its theatricality.
I don't know how to make it tilt up, so I'm going to give it back to you.
This is truly a beautiful church, and as I always have to say, and what Thomas and I talked about in the podcast of the Grand Tour, it is theatrical for all the senses. And of course we look up into the ceiling and that spectacular dome of this church, a church I hardly ever go into. It's wonderful. When you get to live in Rome and many other cities in Italy, you have these moments like this.
But this is the kind of city you don't have to go into a museum to see this. You walk around town and go, oh, I hear organ music. There's a door open. Let's walk in. And you get this.
Exactly, Thomas. Perfect timing.
Wasn't that the drama, the Baroque drama you were talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Rather ominous. Exactly.
Theatrical, dramatic, spectacular, emotional, passionate. That's Baroque. Born in Rome. Looks like we may not be the only ones doing some filming.
Is that true? Oh, that's it. There's a film crew. Well, another thing that happens so often, right? Yeah. So they're actually filming here.
What were they filming now? What
We
was
should be
going
asking
on?
what it is. Must be Italian.
Don't think it's Italian.
What was the latest film actually shot in Rome? Is that a James Bond movie or? I wouldn't even know.
It was, did they put that on? Isn't it New Mission Impossible that's supposed to start?
Mission Impossible.
That's right. It was a new Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, and he was adamant
Oh,
that
look at
everyone
one of
followed
these,
regulations
Madonnell in the
there.
corners. Right there.
That's right, the
Can you
Madonnina.
see it? I'm not sure if I can tilt it.
These replace the same sorts of mini sacred space from ancient Rome. In ancient Rome, doorways, thresholds, intersections were sacred spaces, gateways, sacred spaces. And typically you'd have a little space, a little altar with a little mini god and goddess. Usually not one of the big gods and goddesses, not like the guys the planets are named after, but small. Think in Celtic tradition, it would be like fairies and leprechauns and things like that. These
Are you comparing Mary to fairies and leprechauns?
Mari likes to provoke, and Thomas
but
has a great way
There
of
would be
pointing
usually
things
a
out.
guy, typically a man, who would sit there underneath it and with candles and incense and pray. You'd leave him a little bit of money, and then he would light candles and say prayers on your behalf, so that the gods would protect you while you're in their neighborhood. And then, of course, with the advent of Christianity, those get replaced. And you go to cities all over Italy, and you'll find different saints and such. In Rome, almost all of them are either Mary or Mary and baby Jesus. There are just a few exceptions. You see lots of these around as well. Here, I'm gonna let Mario tell you. I'll show you.
But he talks about the Madonnina because they also would light your way. There would be an oil lamp.
Actually show
And that was the only light source at night. And here are the Nazzoni. Guess he's just washing his hands.
Do you remember where this water comes from? What aqueduct?
We still in the Acqua Marcia.
That's pretty impressive to
The
remember.
Campidoglio, the Acqua Marcia, which was the sweetest.
Yes. I think there are 11 aqueducts, if I remember correctly. You got it from us. How to drink the water properly.
Good water? Nice and cold?
A little messy, but it's cold. It's good. Like life in general.
I guess Thomas is saying life is a little messy, but cold and good.
Yeah, it's hard, so we can't really get into... usually we would go through the Theater of Marcellus, right?
Yeah, but they've got that. That's been closed up for a while. I think it's probably closed off because of the filming, though.
Yeah, look at that little restoration going on. These little restoration
These beautiful
shops.
stores that are not part of any chains.
I'm surprised to see there's so much open here.
Things were less strict during the summer with the COVID protocols.
Rob was asking if that would have boxed wine on the fountain. I guess so. Maybe that was for the workers.
I do like to point those things out to people. And that concludes part 3 of our TE Walks Live for the Jewish Ghetto Quarter. Part 4, we will, I promise you, get to Piazza Mattei and see one of the most beautiful fountains of Rome. So please make sure to join us.